and 4. The battle is on. It's going to be too close to call side by side. Long Joe gets it. Oh, we got contact. We got flips. We got big wrecks here. Going back to the front because we're racing back to the line.
William Page with the victory.
Looking for second here.
Musa's gonna.
Oh, he's gonna use that apron.
He's gonna use the apron.
They're gonna be side by side. Coming off the corner. Boy, back to the inside. It's gonna be a drag race to the line. Musa gets it.
Tom Musa, where did he come from?
Boyer trying to close the gap. He's gonna get to the bumper. Oh, just barely did not make it. And coming off of turn 4, Jeff Sikenis is gonna win it at Dover.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the United States Online Racing League Surge Retro Series here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway for what promises to be one hot night. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twinsky. Alongside me tonight, you know him, you love him, it's Tommy Bordeaux.
Good evening, Joe. Good evening, everybody at home. Welcome to the Mecca of Motorsports, Charlotte Motor Speedway. You know, Joe, a lot of these teams in the USORL are based out of this area. And tonight, they're gathered at their home racetrack for some action under the lights.
Going to be some great action under the lights here tonight. Tommy, qualifying concluded about 10 minutes ago now. Why don't you take us through tonight's starting lineup?
Well, okay, Joe, on pole position. He's been really fast in this series. Almost won at Talladega, had the race in hand before the very end, the last broadcast out here with the Retro Series. It's Noah Joyce and the 31 team. They set the pole time at a 28.834 second lap time around this place, which is just eclipsing Jeff Dixon II in the 88 car. Remember Jeff Dixon winning that Cup Series championship on Saturday night here at USORL a season ago? He makes his, I think, first start of the season here in the Retro Series tonight. In row number 2, number 1, Zach Krastowski leads that inside of row number 2. To his outside, the 3-car of Darren Ingram, your Talladega winner just a few weeks ago. The 07 of Mikey Murata and Chris Pickett in the 8 car make up row number 3 with Henry Bordeaux in the 26 and Antonio Ruiz in the 11 making up your final row tonight. An abbreviated field of 8 cars here, but we also have 6 of them included in the Dash for Cash tonight.
Noble 3.
That's right, the Noble 3.
I just got it. We got to make sure we get the terminology correct here. Started off, Davey Hazard already in chat. Welcome, Davey. Good looking car here for Bordeaux tonight. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Yikes. Words.
Yeah, the haunted camera. That's one of the coolest looking cars you'll see out here. It is, of course, Halloween weekend. Halloween weekend is the way the cool kids say it. And man, we got some good looking rides out here, especially that 26. I think it looks the best out of any. I'm not too biased, but I think, well, yes I am, but I still think it's a great looking car.
It's a very good looking car there with that 26. From a really great looking car to a car that's rather plain, it's the 07 of Mikey Murata. Mikey, one of those 2 drivers that's not going to be involved in our Noble 3 tonight, so only a trophy on the line for this 07 car.
Yeah, Michael's starting there in 5th position in the top 5. Remember, they had some incredible speed at Talladega a couple weeks ago on the broadcast here, but didn't end up with the finish they wanted tonight. They're looking for that. That 07 team, I know, they do a lot of work on their car. They're a lower budget team. They don't have as much funding as some of the bigger programs here in the USORL, but man, they try and pack a punch whenever they can, and tonight they hope to capture some of that momentum that they weren't able to capitalize on at Talladega.
Mikey, always a fan favorite in the JTN headquarters. Like we're coming down to the end of happy hour, getting ready to go green flag racing here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 134 laps tonight. Here, going to be a fun time. 60 degrees, so nice and cool. These cars going to be gripped up really well with those Goodyear Racing Eagles. Remember, this is the 1992 version of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, so no safer barriers, so these drivers got to be really careful how they race each other through these corners. Don't want to hurt anybody, right, Tommy?
No, but it's a lot of fun, this track is, Joe. I was here with these guys, actually out there on the track testing with them earlier before the season began, just to check out the track and how it raced, and it is a lot of fun. And aesthetically, I think this is a gorgeous looking track. That pit lane, too, I know that's a very small detail there, but just that old school pit lane with the double yellow line and the yellow stripes on the right side only. I don't know what it is about it, Joe. It's just classic to me, and I like it a lot.
You're someone that really likes the nostalgia,
Absolutely, 100%.
even if you weren't born yet. Heyo. Um,
But I can appreciate it. Hey, 1992 was a big year as far as my favorite all-time drivers are concerned.
I was gonna say you're probably just a twinkle in your dad's eye at that point.
Yeah.
On board with the 26 right now, the visor cam.
Pretty cool, Joe. You got all those custom numbers up there, too, on the ticker.
They worked.
Of the action. They did, and they look fantastic. Obviously, Chris Pickett, of course, the first one that I see roll across the screen doesn't have it, but the rest do, and that is just wonderful to see.
Hey, and that's not my fault. That's Chris's fault, so. Gonna be a fun night nonetheless. Eight cars here. Is that correct? That's correct, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, and actually, Joe, looks like we're going to be down to 5 entries on the Noble 3. Jesse Dalton for Jesse Dalton Racing was going to make it to the track tonight. Unfortunately, some mechanical issues in the garage area weren't able to make it out for the race tonight. Just too much to fix.
Ugh.
Couldn't pass tech.
Man, that's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Of course, the winner in the season opener at Texas World a couple weeks ago in this series.
I heard they were playing around with the lever on the spoiler, and maybe those USORL officials didn't really like them kind of getting the spoiler out of the air. Little birdie told me that. I don't know. They're cheating. Why they won that race. Now those officials look at that car just a little bit more every week. Gonna be, again, 134 laps tonight. Gonna be a fun time here under the lights from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is JTN, the JoeTowNetwork. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. We can't thank you enough for all your support as always. Welcome, Mr. Joseph Weaver. Lee Weaver, I guess. What do we call Weaver? We just call him Weaver? I think we're just gonna call him Weaver.
He's just Weaver.
He's just Weave. Long-time supporter of JTN. You can get some Joseph Weaver merch on the JTN merch store, actually, so go check that out.
You sure can. It features a car painted by yours truly, actually.
It does. We also have the JTN car version with a car painted by yours truly. He's got 2 shirts. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Field lineup on the back straightaway again. Noah, Joyce, Jeff Dixon on row number 1 here for tonight's event. Joyce's number always kind of throws me off because he's got the red roof number, and that's what the Noble guys have. So really pay attention to those spoilers.
I must say, Joe, one of my favorite parts about broadcasting this series has got to be the cars and the paint schemes. Boy, I'll tell you what, that one car that Zach Rostowski is in is just so sharp, that Quaker State livery. Man.
And one, it's a number that has a lot of, well, you got to have a lot of respect for that number. It carries a lot of weight with it, and Zach has done such a good job driving the number 1 car, right? I always think about the Champions one and all that comes along with that. One on a football roster or a baseball or whatever roster is always a coveted number. Rostowski looking good in that Quaker State Accord here tonight. Field makes their way off of turn number 4. Again, an abbreviated field of 8 here tonight. Noah Joyce with control. We're down and away. Green flag here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
A good getaway there for that inside line. Noah Joyce able to clear Jeff Dixon going into turn number 1. These cars are actually going to have a bit of a draft going on here, like a super speedway with these physics, so it's going to be important to maintain that draft. But the big difference is, Joe, they'll be able to make some moves and pass each other.
Yeah, we saw at Talladega, these guys, they were running those cars on the edge of control, Tommy. Heard that these cars, they're on top of the track tonight. What does that mean?
Yeah, they don't really feel like they settle into the track. Those tires aren't really ripping that much. They're just kind of floating above the top, and there's a couple things along with that. It's just less mechanical grip and also less aero on these cars. Just those spoilers laying so flat on the back, just kind of gliding across the surface. While it may be pretty fast, they're going to have their hands full all night long trying to save these cars from going around on them.
Top two aren't Noah Joyce, Jeff Dixon. Those are two drivers that aren't participating in the Noble 3. Currently, Darren Ingram there in third in the 3 car. He's the leader. You see him right there with Zach Krastowski following close in tow in second.
Yeah, and Darren, by virtue of winning that Talladega race, also locked himself into the Noble 3 victory at Talladega. So he's got a little bit of a back-to-back streak going if he can hang on to where he is now, but I must say, Joe, there's a little bit too long to start thinking about that just yet left in this race.
Gotta think about it early, right? Gotta start playing those strategies.
Possibly some problems there for the 11 of Antonio Ruiz. Fell back quite a bit in the field, might have hit the wall.
There's some smoke there off of turn number 2. Let's see if we can't catch you a replay. Oh, he's gonna go for a spin, Tommy. Here's a replay.
Yeah, just kind of got up the racetrack a little bit and out of the groove, and it's so difficult to hang on to your car, especially with as loose as they are, when you get out of that groove. And unfortunately for Ruiz, it's another tough start here in back-to-back races in this league.
What do you do if you're the driver? You have those tough starts, you get out of your rhythm early. What do you do to recoup that rhythm, recoup that momentum?
Well, you got to keep your focus. I mean, he's a very good driver, and I think he definitely doesn't get things like that into his head too much. For example, last night at the USORL Kart Series race in Michigan, he actually was, I think, at a point a lap down from the field, just waited on the right cautions to get himself back onto the lead lap and ended up winning the race by a couple hundredths of a second over Noah Joyce, our current leader here tonight. So Ruiz has plenty of time to make his way back up into this race, but he's probably going to need a caution at this point.
And you said his name there, Noah Joyce. Watch him as he leads this field. He's got about a second-ish lead over Jeff Dixon right now. What has made Noah so successful here early on in the Retro Series?
Well, he's brought a really fast car to the racetrack every week, and when you can bring that good setup underneath of you, there's not many adjustments that you have to do during practice itself. And when you can unload with fast cars like that, not have to worry about it too much in practice, not only do you make yourself look a lot better to the other field, but you feel good about yourself behind the wheel. Just getting that good advantage over people, carrying that confidence through session to session. And we're seeing it right now in the race as well.
Go back. The battle for third is still the most hotly contested one right now. Ingram's still holding on to it. Krastowski can't find his way around this 3, although really being aggressive on entry to the corner. Ingram kind of pulling him on exit.
These two fighting for that Dash for Cash winner position. Of course, money also goes to the runner-up. But for now, of course, you want that big money. Here's Krastowski to the inside again. Slides up a little bit. Almost got into the left rear quarter panel of Darren Ingram. Had to back out of it a little bit.
Costly mistake there is going to allow Mikey Murata to look to the inside. We talked about this 07 team, underfunded. They don't have the resources that all these other teams have, and right now running in the top 5, scraping the wall. That is not going to help his case here tonight.
No, just sent him a little bit too hard there. Had a tough exit, washed out, hit that wall. That turn 4 wall at Charlotte is actually very easy to hit because this track is actually asymmetrical. Just a bit, especially that turn 4. It closes up a little bit, and it's awfully easy to get involved in an accident there. Just pushing a little bit too hard on the corner exit in turn 4.
I thought all these cookie cutters were the same, Tommy.
Well, they have their unique characteristics, Joe, I'll tell you that much. They can provide great racing. It's up to the cars and up to the cars.
And the tires. Tires.
Right.
Tires. Let me tell you. Tires. Thanks, Goodyear.
Seen a lot of strategy also back when we used to not have stage racing here at the Charlotte.
Oh my goodness.
Charlotte races like that, when Casey Mears won in 07, things like that. The way that race played out was really natural.
Bordeaux down on the pit lane.
Early pit stop there for the 26. Don't know if they had any contact with some of the walls. We'll have to go back and see. Looks like maybe a little bit tight out of turn number 4 and got maybe actually a little loose there. Kind of slid to the grass a little bit. So maybe just trying to bring her down pit road, make some adjustments, get some new tires on.
Get you a replay of that real quick. Off of turn number 4, like you said, just loose off the corner. There's a little bit of a transition there, too, coming off that corner that kind of makes the car feel wonky.
Yeah, things flatten out a little bit there from the banking of the turn onto that front straightaway, kind of front dog leg more like here, quad oval, if you will, and that can definitely make that car feel a little light.
Jeff Dixon there in that 88 Gatorade Buick has closed the gap, now just under 0.3 of a second to leader Noah Joyce. That 88 is coming for the lead.
Jeff Dixon, so good on long runs. Remember, he was really the long run king at Homestead a couple months ago for the USORL Cup Series finale there. And here comes the lap traffic of Bordeaux. He's going to get out of the way of these leaders nice and easy. So no problem there. Meanwhile, like you mentioned, Dixon, he's on the move. He's catching up to Joyce.
If you're Joyce, are you starting to think about what adjustments you're going to make on the first pit stop?
Maybe a little bit here, and the adjustments might not just be with the setup, but also to the driving too. Maybe he can push it a little bit less hard in the next run here to try and save those tires. Boy, but that being said, that 88 car, I'll tell you what, Jeff Dixon, he hasn't raced for a little bit here on the USORL, it doesn't seem like, but no mistakes can be made about his pace. He's certainly got it right now. And he's working on that back bumper. He's filling up that near the 31 car.
Are these cars as aero sensitive as the current Cup cars when it comes to getting on a guy's bumper like that?
Oh no, absolutely not. In fact, you can see him be able to hold that line there, get the run off the turn, and now to the inside of Joyce, looking for the lead. Jeff Dixon, here we go, lap 16. He's going to make that move pretty easy. Here comes Darren Ingram, Noah's teammate. Now third place, working to try and get second away from Joyce.
And we've seen Krastowski and Ingram also kind of following Dixon, so have to wonder if the 31 maybe set up more for the short run. Maybe thought maybe we'd have more cars, more drivers, more cautions. Maybe set the thing up for the short run here to start the race and just didn't catch that break.
It could be, it could also be if you're chasing after fast lap times in practice, and maybe you don't focus on your long run pace, you can kind of miss a little bit with this setup. But as we've seen right now throughout the year, that 31's definitely been fast on the short run. The long run maybe it lacks a little bit. And while the short run has definitely helped it be as successful as it has been, tonight maybe a little bit of a different story.
Jeff Dixon up and out of the groove there through 1 and 2. That's going to allow Joyce to kind of close in a little bit. Now getting some good momentum down the back straightaway is Dixon. Maybe about a car length back to Noah through turns 3 and 4. A little bit of smoke up there through the corner. Still teammates battling for second in the mirror of Jeff Dixon.
This battle for the lead's certainly not over yet, but the racing that Ingram and Joyce are doing, helping that 88 pull away just a little bit for now. Lap times have fallen off about 0.7 of a second so far, so already in just about 18, 19 laps, some significant fall off, almost a second so far.
Starting to see those cars get squirrelier coming off of turn 4 too.
Definitely a handful on that turn.
Antonio Ruiz unscheduled pit stop. I think that was probably for tires. Maybe that smoke up in 1 and 2 from that 11. Having, a tough start to tonight's race, similar to Talladega. Just over almost a month and a half ago now. Tommy, are you ready for Spooky Day tomorrow?
Well, absolutely, Joe. It's really one of those hallmarks of the fall season. You can't have a fall season without Halloween, and of course all the festivities that come with it. I really like Halloween cars especially. There's going to be a few of them on track tomorrow night at the Cup Series race at Martinsville, and that'll be cool.
Well, and speaking of tomorrow night, Tommy, tomorrow night we do have Halloween 500 Talladega with the East Coast Thunder. Racing League. Tomorrow night at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Join myself, Ricky Collette, for that one from Talladega. Good looking track out there. Think about Talladega, but think spooky. That's what you gotta think of there. Next race, where you and I are going to be on the call, is the All-Star Racing Cup Series on November the 3rd. That's Wednesday from the Texas Motor Speedway. Then Bomb Squad Cup Series and Xfinity Series action closing out their seasons at Phoenix Thursday, Friday. And then next Monday, November the 8th, the Indiana 200 for the ASRA Indy Cars as Darren Ingram's into the wall.
Ingram sliding against that turn 4 wall, killing his momentum, and man, just looks like that 3 car was stuck in there like glue. So many times you see that in online racing where a driver gets into the wall and they stick there. Boy, that's really going to hurt Darren's race. It's still early yet, but man, losing all that momentum in that track position, it's going to be tough.
What a save by Ingram, though, to not junk up that car, not junk up his teammate, because he was loose all the way through the center of the corner.
Absolutely. Those tires are going away on him, but managed to hold on to it the way he did was really impressive. He's back there fighting with that 8-car Chris Pickett and the 07 of Murata now. Although he, I'll tell you what, he's lucky to even be in this race at this point. Could have been a lot worse.
That felt like it was going to be a lot worse, didn't it?
Back up front, Jeff Dixon leads the way. Almost a second gap now back to Noah Joyce in second place. And in third, Zach Kostowski, with that slip up by Ingram, is in that top spot for the Noble 3. A lot of action going on back here. The battle for 4th position. Murata getting passed by Pickett. Now here comes Ingram to the inside. Ingram going to take that spot away. So Darren's back on the charge. Of course, you got to wonder how much damage he might have sustained in that incident there, scraping up that right side. It doesn't look too bad, though. I think he'll be okay. Just like jeans, man. Those Wrangler jeans. They're real comfortable jeans. They're durable, too.
Right now, he's got to try to get around that 8 car to get back into the 2nd position in the Noble 3. 4th position on track, but Ingram back inside the top 5. Now, Mikey Murata, that 07 team, they're starting to struggle.
Looks like they're just getting really, really tight, Joe. They can't really hold that speed throughout the corners like they wanted to, especially at the beginning of the run. They've already got a little bit of damage on the right side. I just hope to not have to add any more of that until they can get in the pits.
Ingram on by for 4th. Gonna have an uphill battle to catch up to the top 3. Right now, it's Jeff Dixon's show out front.
Well, things have certainly spread out up at the front. Jeff Dixon now 2nd and a half clear of our pole sitter Noah Joyce, and back another couple tenths to Zach Kostowski in 3rd there. So those two pretty much the closest battle on the track right now, as Darren Ingram is starting to pull away from Chris Pickett in that 2nd spot of the Noble 3. And Joe, pit stops I think we'll start seeing in the next 2 or 3 laps here for sure. Pit window is upon us, and I'm sure a lot of these guys are going to be very careful with pit road entry on these old tires. And Charlotte, really a tough track to get down on pit road. You don't have a whole lot of space to get down there. And slow down to the right speed, of course.
How can you be careful as we see the 2 guys down on pit road? Bordeaux sliding through the grass. 4 guys down on pit road.
Well, Joyce, Kostowski, Ingram, and Murata all on pit road right now, pitting a little bit earlier than our current leader, Jeff Dixon, and maybe a little bit of advantage for them. Get that fresh rubber on there, help them later on.
Dixon trying to minimize that advantage. He's down the pit lane. I know I just cut you off. I apologize, but
Well, I was going to say, they're trying to get that undercut there on him, and we'll have to see if that works out as everybody else leaves. There comes Dixon into his stall.
A lonely place for that 88 right now. Chris Pickett staying out. I think he's coming to the pit lane this time by.
Yeah, I would definitely think so. We see that a lot with Chris Pickett. He'll stay out an extra lap to get those bonus points for leading a lap. Here he comes down to pit lane now.
That Underbird.
Okay, so Jeff Dixon just exited pit road. He's going to have to get back onto the track, riding that apron through turns 1 and 2.
You might extend this lead, Tommy.
He might just. Here comes Noah Joyce. Coming around turns 1 and 2, but for Jeff Dixon, already far on the back straightaway, looks like he is going to extend his lead, despite the undercut.
And that is a awful proposition for those guys that were trying to catch him.
Yeah, not a good sign at all. And just for reference, the get up to speed laps after pitting, for Dixon it was a 105.042, and for Joyce it was in the 106s. So a lot of time, just a second in pit lane can actually gain you a lot more on the racetrack. So big advantage there for Jeff Dixon.
What do they say? They hate to see it?
Well, if you're Noah Joyce, you do, but if you're Jeff Dixon, you're loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Exactly. Now, that being said, that short run speed for Noah Joyce already arriving. He's just ran his fastest lap of the race at 29.019. Dixon last time by at 29.564.
And this is the point where he needs to utilize that short run speed, right?
It would have to be, although 3.6 seconds behind is quite the large gap, and he can knock a couple tenths off of it for a few laps, but ultimately, Joe, I think later in the run, as you saw Dixon get pretty much a second and a half, almost 2-second lead over Joyce, it's going to be a tall task to make up that throughout a run. Joyce that time still about 0.3 of a second faster.
Bordeaux again slow through the apron in turns 3 and 4. Not the night that 2016 was looking for.
Not quite, and for as good of a night as it was at Talladega a few weeks ago, of course, getting that runner-up position in the Noble 3. Not so much here at Charlotte so far.
Is the 07 a throwback to Randy LaJoie?
It could be. I mean, it possibly is. Knowing Mikey Murata, I'm sure it probably is. But I know he also likes to just do weird, unsponsored paint schemes as well, so.
Welcome to the show, Clippers, dude. So Dixon currently out front in that Gatorade Buick. Is that a Buick?
It is!
Those commercials are awful.
You know, I didn't even remember that they were a commercial until you mentioned that, and now I'm hating it. I'm no longer loving it.
I am loving the Braves just took a 3-2 lead, bottom of the 7th.
Okay.
Like to see that. However, Penn State is down 6 to Ohio State. OSU ball third one from the Penn State 9.
Not a good sign right there for you Penn State fans, or well, I would say Penn State fans, pretty much anybody fans, if you're not an Ohio State fan.
There are words that rhyme with buck that I would like to say about the Buckeyes, but I will not, because I am a professional. Oh, Chris Pickett, his motor's expired.
Oh man, and that's our first casualty of the night. It blew out the window.
Watch, he's gonna go for it's a Jonderbird on the 8, but I have a feeling, if John Peterson, if you're watching still, you might want to talk to the Ford Motor Company about your new line of sedans.
Man, tough break there, you know. These old engines, Joe, not quite as reliable as the ones they put in these cars today. You don't often see that these days, but back then, that was all what it's about.
Motor went like kablooya. Yeah.
Well, that reduces our field of Noble 3 contenders by 1.
Down to 4.
And those 4 being led by the 1 car of Zach Ostowski right now. Darren Ingram there in the 3 car. They have made up some ground, just about 4 seconds behind Kostowski, but still got a ways to go in this race, so plenty of time to catch up and try and take that top spot away.
Stowski.
Of course, at least where he is, still in the money.
Kostowski, big mistake there through turns 1 and 2. Clipped the apron, walked the car up the track. Did a good job of keeping it out of the wall. The winner, or the highest finisher out of the Noble 3 will take home $15, with the second place driver taking home the $750, which covers the pay-in that all these drivers put into the pot, with the rest of the money going towards the server, as well as, well, yours truly. I just wanted to do the math, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, you know, that's a said $15, is that right, Joe?
$15 right now to Zach Kostowski.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's not a bad payday, especially for an online race. Sitting at home on your computer making $15, I'll take it.
How much money did you make in an online race before? What was it?
100.
Ooh.
Yes. I have the check. I deposited it online so I could keep the actual check. Because that's a pretty cool deal.
You gonna frame it?
We'll see. We'll see. Just about 90 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so already a good portion of the way through this race. So far, a couple incidents, but nothing for a caution yet.
Always like to see a good, clean race here with the United States Online Racing League Surge Retro Series. And folks, if you like what you're seeing, make sure, if you haven't already, you hit that like button on the video, because of course you're liking what you're seeing, so you hit the like button. Make that connection for you. But also, if you'd be so kind to subscribe to us here on JTN, we're continuing our charge towards 1,000. Next milestone, 750 subscribers. Inching close there, but can't thank you enough for all your support as always. Tuning in chat. Y'all are the best, and we appreciate you so much. Just make sure, if you haven't already, you're subscribed.
That's right, Joe. That 1,000 mark for the Tommy Bordeaux 2003 special. I'm very much looking forward to that one. I think we can get there this year, 2022. It's not 2022 yet, but you know what I mean. Fiscal year, we'll say.
Now, did you have a physical year? That's what you said, right?
Whoa, fiscal.
Did you make those gains?
Oh. Not real, well, kind of.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Yeah. I mean, compared to 2020, absolutely.
Well, and folks, if you made some gains, maybe you need some new wardrobe, head on over to the JTN merch store right now. You can get our JTN race car merch available to you on t-shirts as well as hoodies, and the black version of the race car, the JoeTowNetwork race car, piloted by Sean Whitehill in Season 7 of the USORL Cup Series, as well as the white version of the race car, which was the JTN Merch Store edition of the race car. You can get both of those designs right now. JTN Merch Store, available on t-shirts, hoodies, as well as available in die-cut stickers. JTN Merch Store, linked in the description below.
Joe, I saw a wonderful picture on Twitter recently from Sean Whitehill of his cat sitting, I think, on or next to some JTN merchandise. It was adorable.
You know, Sean Whitehill was such a great brand ambassador for us here on JTN. It was just so unfortunate to see that he was going to leave that for Team Towanski over here in the USORL. Still don't have a driver for that car, of course. Don't know if someone else has claimed the number yet or not, but happy to see him moving on to greener pastures after the win at Michigan and at our home race, as well as a good playoff run for him and that entire team.
Yeah, that was quite a spectacular race, and I'll tell you what, that has got to be one of the highlights of the JTN Cars history throughout the JTN broadcasting, volumes of races that we've done.
Well, and that was the best part, was he was actually in one of our longtime partner Detroit Genuine parts over at Team Twansky. He was running their colors there at Michigan and won the race in a battle with Mikey Murata. Fuel saving to win that one, and of course we're going to have some of those top moments for you later on in the year as we switch on over to 2022, so be on the lookout for that as well. Have to think that race will be in there.
Joe, 2022 is one of those years where, we're closer to 22 than 111-1.
Wow.
Yeah. Imagine back in those days, about less than 1,000 years ago, but still a while ago, running 1-1-1-1 on everything. And I don't even know if they did that back then. I don't know if that was the standard calendar at that point, so maybe they just didn't. But I'm sure at some point somebody did.
Have you ever just put a bunch of ones on a piece of paper before?
Well, actually, funny you say that. One of my classes in school, we had to... What is the right word? I guess decrypt, if you want to say that, binary into decimal notation, and in which case sometimes, yes, it would just be a bunch of ones that I'd have to write down.
Old binary. That is, glad I don't do that anymore.
The language of computers.
Computers got a silly language. They
Yeah,
really
should
do.
start speaking English,
Just make it easier. All right.
Well, as far as battles on the track are concerned, we've got one. We've got this battle not just for third position, but also for your Noble 3 lead right now. Zach Kostowski and Darren Ingram. Just 3/100ths of a tenth, 3/10ths of a second to each other right now. It's getting even closer this lap.
Ingram looks to the outside as we head down into 1 and 2. I have to think he's going to try to make that crossover on the exit of the corner, trying to carry the momentum in that middle line. Krastowski, that car getting a little uneasy for him coming off the corner. Ingram closed it in down the back straightaway as we head into 3.
Ingram can be patient here. Still plenty of time in this race. Remember, he made up a lot of ground on the pit stop and after the pit stop. And it did seem like he had the faster car prior to his excursion with the turn 4 wall. Here we go. Ingram setting up that move. He's going to make it in turn number 1, clear that Zach Kostowski machine, and take back third position. Hasn't been in that one for a while, so I'm sure he's pretty relieved to be back there.
That means we now have Buick, Olds, Honda, and then I forget what Mikey's in. Mikey's probably in some conglomerate. Oh, he doesn't even have menu stickers on that car.
I think it's a Thunderbird, but yeah, definitely no decals on that one.
My goodness. Get it together,
no
Mikey.
Ford factory support.
Krastowski looking back to the inside of Ingram as we head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that fight's not over. Krastowski looking for that move there. And this might be just our best battle on track for the rest of the race, because right now, back up front, it's almost a 10-second advantage for Jeff Dixon ahead of Noah Joyce.
That's crazy, because coming to that first pit stop, it was, what, a second and a half, maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't very much, and this run in particular, it's just ballooned.
It's like, it's not even spring. Things aren't supposed to bloom. It's the fall. Things die.
Well, I guess it's right. I don't know what was going through my head, even though Halloween's coming up, but it almost felt like it was spring all of a sudden for a second. But no, you're right.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
No orange trees surrounding this racetrack, but I don't think there's many trees surrounding the racetrack. You can see, you can see some actually there out of turn 3 and 4, but none of them losing their leaves just yet.
Go back up front, watch Jeff Dixon master at work here. The Ford Thunderbird ran about as good as John Peterson. John Peterson writes in. Was that a self-burn?
I guess it was. It was at a time in your Dash for Cash runner-up position, so it was running pretty well for a bit there.
Did you say the wheels fell off of it?
Well, I think more than just the wheels fell off. I think the headers and the piston rings and all that other stuff fell off of it.
Coming up on pit stops, Noah Joyce on the pit lane. But Darren Ingram decides he stays out another lap. Zach Krastowski was gonna pit. Bordeaux evasive maneuvers. It's gonna cost Krastowski a lot of time to Darren Ingram.
Oh boy, that's going to be a real big hurter because that is just so much time lost. You know, we've seen this before in real racing too, Joe. Guys will miss pit road and have to come back in again. Sometimes, like if you're Denny Hamlin at Darlington, you can get away with it, but problems for Bordeaux right there. Almost got into Krastowski. Wonder what happened.
We saw Jeff Dixon really aggressive to the pit lane, getting to the inside of Mikey Murata. Take a look at what happened with the 26 through 1 and 2. Gonna make contact with the outside wall. Go for a little looper. Out of the way. Krastowski slips through.
Boy, just barely, and that's a scary moment for Krastowski, man. I'll tell you what, and it wouldn't have been that bad if he hadn't missed pit road. That wouldn't have even happened, so... Oh boy, mistakes compounding on mistakes here.
Now, the only time I like things to compound is when it's interest.
Oh, we love compound interest here, Joe.
Dixon aggressive coming off the pit lane. This is what got him a bunch of time that last run. Here he comes off the pit lane. Noah Joyce, who was second, now just entering turns 1 and 2. Right side damage on that 31.
Joyce pushing pretty hard here. It looked like this race was going to be one that he could compete for the win in. Until about lap number 15, and Jeff Dixon started to roll forward and took the lead away from Joyce and really has not looked back since.
Joyce, though, he's got to think about the championship, right? That's still out in front of him.
Absolutely, and he's got a good, advantage over Darren Ingram, about 5 seconds on that number 30, that number 3 car. Has the 31, so he's got an okay gap right now, and the smart thing to do would just be to get to the end of this race knowing, hey, maybe I'm not going to be able to compete for this win, but I should definitely come out of here with a positive point stay on my competition. It looks like he's setting himself up to do that pretty nicely, though, so far.
Things we love to see, not this.
No! Problems for Dixon.
And he's got
big-time problems.
And he's got a left front down, Tommy.
Oh no, and this is a disaster. It went from looking like this was going to be an easy win in the bag for the 88 team, and now some absolute drama out of turn number 2. Joyce goes by Dixon to inherit the lead once again.
Dixon just pushing the issue. Slips that apron just a little bit. No grip down there. Goes for a slide. Lucky, though. Gonna be some left side damage, Tommy, but I don't think that car is in too bad of shape.
Not gonna be too bad, but obviously everyone had already really had their pit stop, so this is definitely an unsequenced or a not on sequence pit stop, and that's gonna hurt him a lot because, man, I'll tell you what, if that had happened maybe right at the end of the last run, it wouldn't have affected things too badly. He could have got to pit road to a similar time as everybody else, but this unscheduled stop is going to really hurt him. And I don't know if he's going to have that time to make back up, even if the way things cycle out helps him. I don't know.
Bree drops the jack. He's off the pit lane. Gonna have to make up 2 laps here for this race. If the trend continues with this race, that's going to be a tall task.
It's really going to be a tall task. Now, he's going to be lucky that he'll be in that lucky dog position at least, but I don't know. We're going to need cautions to come out, and so far, for the amount of incidents we've seen and no cautions yet, doesn't look likely. But never say never.
That was a song, I think.
I'm sure it is. But hey, some crazier things have happened. We really thought that this was going to be the Jeff Dixon show tonight. And I was just talking about how he was able to get back in front of Noah Joyce and pull his way through after another round of pit stops, but unfortunately for the 88, he goes around again.
hard into the outside wall. Rear end tore all up on that 88 Buick of Jeff Dixon, just pushing the issue, trying to make up that time, Tommy, and it came back to bite him.
Boy, and I don't know if that's the nail in the coffin. That must be it. That's it. That 88 team is going to retire from the race from such a promising night. Oh, a disaster for the Gatorade crew. Man, it was looking so good, too.
Mikey Murata, let's go on board with that 07. Watch this driving from the driver. There's Dixon and whoop! Juked him.
I'll tell you what, really impressive reaction time there from Michael. He still hit the wall out of two a little bit there, Joe. But the alternative was he would have plowed into Jeff Dixon and ruined both of their nights. So good piece of driving there by the 07 team. And by virtue of Dixon being out, now that crew is up into 4th position. That's the highest they've been all night.
Mikey would have been a good candidate for Arca Break Weekly, too, if contact was made there. So good on him. I know they always...
You don't want to be a candidate for that, I'll tell you that much.
Let me tell you, the sponsors always want the TV time, but there's one show they don't want the TV time on, and it's that one.
So the way things now set, Noah Joyce back into the lead position. That's where he started the race, but hadn't been there for a while there, Joe, and now he's back out front, and I know he's going to be really happy about that one, for sure.
And now has a 5-second gap on Darren Ingram in second, something he didn't have in that initial run in the race where the 3-car kind of ran him down and made the pass for position before the slip-up for Ingram in 1 and 2. So if you're Joyce, are you going to start backing down the pace knowing you have a little bit of a handicap on him?
Well, you can't do what Dixon did and overdrive it a little bit there, make a mistake, and put yourself in an unforced error. You can't afford to do that if you're Joyce, certainly. Now, that gap, it's a good, comfortable gap, but you also can't get complacent and just, completely let off the gas. But, for Joyce, it sets him up for a good position, Joe, too. Leading this race and leading laps, he still could lead the most laps in this race and get those bonus points that's going to help him out in that championship battle.
And what was that battle looking like coming into tonight, Tommy?
Well, so far, Joe, Noah Joyce really had the advantage. I can get the exact gap for you, but...
We are, it is the Retro Series, so we got a bunch of papers and accordion folders and a lot of papers up here to go through, so we'll find those for you. Tommy's going to do a search while I do a read. Head on over to CircleBDiecast.com now for a steal of a deal. Use code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. Circle B Diecast is your home for all your racing-related memorabilia needs. Remember, that's code JTN at checkout. Free shipping on your order of $20 or more. You'll also help support us here on JTN. So it's a win-win-win for everybody involved. CircleBDiecast.com.
Well, Joe, the points gap right now, Noah Joyce leads Darren Ingram by 57 points. Zach Krastowski in third by 90, with 96 back from Joyce. Ruiz, 113 back. Looks like he's probably out of it at this point, given the rough night he's had tonight. Still in 5th place, albeit, but got a long way to go to catch up to Joyce and Ingram. Doesn't look like he's going to be much of a factor with still plenty of time in the series, Joe, but with the points gaps between positions of roughly 5 points per spot, a tall task for really anyone to try and catch Joyce at this point.
The task is tall.
Crazier things have happened.
That's not what Noah Joyce wants to hear, as he's hitting the apron there, coming off the corner, contact with the wall. I think we need to just stop talking at this point.
All right, it seems like that commentator's curse. If we talk about him and doing good, then all of a sudden we have some incidents. Joyce looked like he got a little free there in the center of the corner that time. Touched the apron just a skosh in turn number 2. And that's really what got Jeff Dixon a couple laps ago, so that 31's got to be careful about it.
If we tell him he's doing awful, will that make him do good? Or will that just hurt his confidence?
Possibly. I don't know.
Fresno State currently up on San Diego State 17-0. Little NCAA score update for you. And BYU and UVA, University of Virginia, 28 for the Cougars, 20 for the Cavaliers. We're not going to talk about any of the noon games, though.
Yeah, I don't remember any of them, so yeah, we'll move on from that for now. Sacramento Kings, for all you NBA fans, they're not playing tonight.
Thankfully.
But they play the Mavericks tomorrow night. Now, what do you mean thankfully by that, Joe?
Are you a Sacramento Kings fan?
Absolutely.
That's unfortunate for you.
Right now, sitting 3-2 on the season, won a night ago over the New Orleans Pelicans. Almost tried to lose it, but didn't. It's good for them.
And for a real sport, the National Hockey League scoreboard for tonight. Games currently being played. The Colorado Avalanche up 3-1 over the Minnesota Wild. The Philadelphia Flyers down on the road at Calgary 1-0. The Edmonton Oilers up 1-0 over the Vancouver Canucks. Games already completed. The Predators beat the Islanders 3-2 in a shootout. The LA Kings defeat the Montreal Canadiens 5-2. Boston Bruins are the first team to defeat the Florida Panthers 3-2. And the Maple Leafs of Toronto defeat the Detroit Red Wings 5-4. New Jersey Devils defeat the Penguins 4-2. San Jose Sharks 2-1 over the Winnipeg Jets, and the St. Louis Blues continue the miserable season of the Chicago Blackhawks 1-0 in St. Louis. Rightfully so for Chicago.
Yeah, miserable would be an understatement, certainly. Not too many good things going on for the Blackhawks recently.
Nick,
Senators didn't play today?
They did not. I believe they're probably out there on the ice tomorrow.
Yeah, one day we don't have to lose. I'll take it.
Hey, I've been very happy with my Red Wings so far this year. A lot of young players. Everyone's playing good. Senators do not play tomorrow, Tommy.
That's great. A free weekend.
Next game is Monday in Chicago.
Oh boy. Well, all right then.
That's a W.
I should hope so. I should hope so. Or else we're going to have some problems. Speaking of problems, Noah Joyce having no problems thus far. His gap still maintaining about 4.5 seconds back to Darren Ingram. The Yzer plan.
Yzer plan.
Jim?
It is.
Yes.
It's all coming together.
You love to see it.
Hey man, we're at a point per game pace right now, and I will take it.
There you go.
Just got to compete for playoffs this year, you know? Don't have to make it. Just compete. Lucas Raymond looking like a front runner for Rookie of the Year. Tyler Bertuzzi out there. Looking heckin' fine. And oh yeah, the captain. Dylan Larkin. Out of Waterford, Michigan, always. Well, he's just a stud.
Well, there goes Joyce around Murata there, putting Murata one lap down, so 3 cars remain on the lead lap. It's like an old school race for sure, Joe. These Retro Series races, I'm telling you.
Davey Road and Noah Joyce loves a long run.
Problems for Antonio Ruiz in turn number 4. You might have seen that smoke as we passed by him. Into the wall, turned around, and the poor night for that 11 team continues. He's ran pretty good here in the past couple weeks, but we turn on the TV cameras, and all of a sudden, issues for the 11.
That's maybe a deal with Federal Express, but we talked about it. Sponsors wanted you to get on TV. Best way to get on TV is just to go around on the track, you know? Unfortunately.
So that makes the battle for the 5th position pretty interesting there. Bordeaux in the 26th, just a lap behind Ruiz. I'm sure they're going to be able to pass him and possibly take that spot away, as long as that 26 doesn't have any more problems of their own. Looks like we got our first takers from pit road. Krastowski in that 1 car.
I'm at this weird part where we're going to need 2 stops, Tommy. We had about 70 laps to go. We know we can run 30, so Krastowski opting to pit a little bit earlier here. Have to think he'll maybe go 20, 25, and then pit again to make that last run about 30 laps. If not, go a little bit longer as he's loose coming off the pit lane.
Could do that. Could also extend that first run there as long as you can, and then for that second run, you only have to put in a little bit of fuel and tires. Maybe two right sides or something like that to save yourself some time on pit lane.
Mikey Murata down on the pit lane, right side damage on that car. See if they try to pull it out. Have to think that would not be the wise decision since we're pitting under green. You never know, though. I never liked the guys working on my car under green. Never was a fan of it.
No, it's frustrating because you just want to go, and you can't when they're banging on the car.
I mean, you could. But then you'd be taking the jack out on the track.
Yeah,
and...
it would be frowned upon.
Speaking of jacks out on the track, I brought that up for a reason. Did you watch the Xfinity Series race today, Tommy?
I watched the last 20 laps and was thoroughly disappointed by the outcome. Yes.
My man Daniel Hemrick. The racing gods see him in the lead, and they're like, how can we screw this up for him?
You know, and that's the last thing I wanted was a caution at the end, but that's the thing. It's NASCAR. I knew we would get one because we have to finish under green, white, checkered conditions no matter what.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes, Joe.
When are you going to start writing for JTN?
The time soon cometh, don't you worry. On pit lane now, our top two, Ingram and Joyce, have both decided to come down and get their service.
Not surprising, they're teammates on the pit lane at the same time, and you talked about it. Ingram is second in the points, needs to start cutting into the points lead of Noah Joyce.
Certainly does, and he's going to need a lot more than maybe one spot even. He's got to hope for Joyce to have problems. Now, Talladega a couple weeks ago was a big help for that number 3 team, but ultimately at Pocono and at Riverside, the last 2 races, not quite, but look at that gap that Ingram was able to gain.
And he's going to be right there as we come off the pit lane. Has to think he might have spooked Joyce there a little bit in that 31. Saw a bunch of wheel spin coming off the pit lane with that GM Goodwrench Oldsmobile. It's really hard not to say Chevrolet, but Joyce maintains the lead. Have to think he's going to try to stretch it here because of the short run speed in that 31.
Certainly, I think this is the golden opportunity for Joyce right now, and maybe he's going to go with that strategy like you mentioned, maybe shorten up both of these final stints here to try and get the maximum amount of speed out of the short run of these race cars.
And that'll pull Darren down the pit lane with him, and kind of, unless Darren tries to run long, but right now, the reason you run long a lot of times is you're trying to catch that caution. We haven't really gotten the indication that we're going to catch one of those cautions here tonight.
No, certainly not, and I don't think we're going to see one either at any point, but, crazier things have happened, during this race. We thought Jeff Dixon pretty much had it in hand more than halfway through, but of course that all changed and flipped on its head. But for right now, if you're Ingram, he's hanging with Joyce pretty well, and I think maybe some of those adjustments that Ingram was able to make on pit lane have helped that short run speed of the 3 team.
Sitting here on a Saturday night, I'm Joe, he's Tommy, here with JTN's coverage of the USORL Surge Retro Series Noble Race. Number 2 of the Noble 3. There we go, got the numbers right that time. Noah Joyce currently leads. He's also your points leader with Darren Ingram there in second. Can't thank you enough for joining us here tonight. And, well, we got a bunch of great racing coming up, presented by our friends at TWB Technologies. Together we are better. Coming at you live tomorrow night. It's Halloween night, Eve, with the Halloween 500 from Talladega with East Coast Thunder. Coverage begins there at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Then All-Star Racing Cup Series action opens the round of 8 on Wednesday from the Texas Motor Speedway. Coverage there at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Join myself and Tommy out there in Texas in the Lone Star State. Then I'm going to take a plane over to Phoenix, join Ricky Collette from the Phoenix Raceway for the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series. And then Friday night, the Bomb Squad Racing Xfinity Series, both championship races there. We know who the champion of the Cup Series is going to be, so that race is going to be all about bragging rights. But that Xfinity title is on the line Friday night. Then, of course, always a special event, the Indiana 200 All-Star, or ASRA National Championship from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Monday, November the 8th. All of those races, of course, only on JTN.
Nothing quite like Indy at Indy.
Those were the only cars that work on that oval, but by golly, I don't mind seeing stock cars on that oval. Although it was fun seeing the road course. I did have fun.
You were there for it in person.
I was. But I don't know if I had fun because that was my first time being at a stock car road course race or what, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, it's about who you go with, too, how you have fun, and I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this gap that Joyce, we thought maybe he would gain a little bit there on Ingram is really not materializing. It's still very close within 2.5 tenths of a second.
Well, and Joyce, the hometown hero, really wanted to win here at Charlotte tonight. Having a very strong run. We saw this same story last time we were broadcasting live here with the Retro Series. Teammate Darren Ingram closing in late stages of the race and was able to win at Talladega. Do we see a repeat of that tonight, Tommy?
Well, I know Noah Joyce doesn't want a repeat, but so far it's setting up to look exactly the same way. Lap number 100 about to be complete here. That's going to give us 34 to go this time by, so we're definitely in the closing stages of this race, and in just a couple laps' time, the beginning of the pit window if you wanted to pit early to try and make it to the end on fuel, but I don't suspect we're going to see anyone try and do that.
It'd be a little too early. Like I said, you want to cut it as you don't want to make it too long of a run. You don't want to make too short of a run. You kind of want to split things up. Kind of it helps you out on both runs. I like getting a little bit of help here, a little bit of help there, instead of just a big spoonful of help at the end. I want time, Tommy. I just want time.
Don't we all? And yet it marches on no matter what we do.
Unfortunate. No one's ever beaten Father Time.
Not yet. Undefeated.
Undefeated. 2021-0.
Exactly.
That's got to be the best undefeated, the best streak in all sports, right?
Yeah, I don't think even UCLA college basketball had quite the streak like that back in the 80s or whenever they just, won 3 or 4 national championships without losing a game or whatever crazy they did.
What about UConn?
I'm excited for
women's basketball.
That's true. That's true. They also had a good streak. I like college basketball a lot, Joe. I know. I've definitely come around at college football more, I think, this year than past years, just because it seems like I'm in a good community of folks that appreciate college football.
Noah Joyce into the wall. Darren Ingram for the lead.
One of them is Noah Joyce, but he is going to have some problems right there. And the battle for the lead has shifted big time. Ingram in the lead now, in control of this race late. Where have we seen this before?
Talladega. We were just talking about it.
That's right. Of course.
Of course. How could I forget? Noah Joyce didn't forget. Mistake made there, but he's already back all over the bumper of Ingram, just trying to find a way around that 3. I mean, Tommy, are you a little worried now if you're Noah?
Look, Joe, you don't have to panic if you're Joyce right now. There's no need to do anything too rash. Get yourself out of shape and, really seal the deal on your race. You've just got to be aware of what's at stake right here. Remember, that 31 car won the pole. You're fast. You were leading right there. It was just a mistake on your behalf that let Darren take that lead from you. But remember, how did he catch up to him? On the pit stops, gaining on pit lane. So you got to make sure you get a good, clean pit entry, but you don't try to overdo it either. Again, if you just drive normally, make no mistakes, you'll be okay.
Darren Ingram makes your job hard, too. He makes it hard for the pass. I don't think it's going to matter that these two are teammates. Ingram going to do all that he can to keep that 31 in his rear view throughout the remainder of this race.
Hey, as he should, but you know what? They're fighting for that championship battle too, and that's what these guys do. They race hard, they race to win, and they have fun doing it. But definitely the competition, sometimes, but the competition, it doesn't go away just because they're teammates.
There's a reason we have Tommy in the booth and we don't let him out on track all that much.
Too often, right?
Make sure he keeps having fun. But hey, I mean, Tommy, it's been a fantastic race so far. We're under those 30 laps to go. We know we have one more pit stop. Set us up for the end of this one.
Well, Joe, the way we've run through the field so far, we saw an initial start from Noah Joyce that looked very promising, and then sort of the middle part of this race was really the Jeff Dixon show, but some problems for that 88 have pivoted this race on its head. Darren Ingram now leads the way after a Noah Joyce mistake. Joyce in second place, about a half second back from Ingram. In third place, Zach Kostowski and that one team have had a pretty quiet night, a couple incidents, but nothing too major, and they're holding on to that third position pretty well, ahead of Mikey Murata in fourth, a lap down, Antonio Ruiz and that 11 team in fifth, Bordeaux in the 26 car. Our last car on track right now in sixth position, our two retirements of the night. The aforementioned Jeff Dixon and Chris Pickett expired motor earlier on.
Mikey Murata coming off the pit lane, so he has made his final stop of the night. Oh, Mikey's okay with me calling him Mikey.
Oh, I'm sure. I think he prefers that, really. I know what not to call him.
What's
and
that?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it, but I know there's a version of his name he doesn't like it to be called.
Is it Mike?
Yeah.
Or is it something else?
No, it's that.
All right, well, we're going to...
If you listen to this, Michael, I'm not the one who said it.
Next time I talk to him, I'm going to call him Big Mike.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure he'll love that.
What's up, Big Mike? Tommy, I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
I'm having a good time. I hope everybody at home is having a fun time as well. We're closing in on the end of this thing here, and there's still a lot of questions about who is going to win this race. It really comes down to how well they get in, on, and off pit road.
And
the last thing you could do if you're one of these guys is have a pit road speeding penalty.
You had to say it. I mean, getting down onto the pit lane, we've seen it. It's difficult here, right? We've talked about that a lot. I think the thing we've really overlooked, though, is coming off the pit lane, because we've seen these guys, they really creep up towards the banking. And if you get up there on the racing surface, you're going to get a black flag. You cannot enter the racing surface until you exit turn number 2.
That would be an absolute killer for any of these guys, especially because you got to come around again, come down pit lane, and pass through. That is just not the way you want to do it. And certainly, I'm sure these guys know that, but as they're pushing for every little tenth they can get on the racetrack, sometimes mistakes happen.
Well, and they call it a drive-through penalty, but you don't get French fries or a quick hamburger when you go through that type of drive-through.
No, you just get handed an L. Courtesy of the USORL officials.
I'm gonna write that down real quick. Drive-through with official handing L. That's be on the lookout on the JTM merch store for that one. Anyways, speaking of that JTN merch store, you can now head on over, get some JTN logo merch. It's our normal JTN logo, available on hoodies, t-shirts, got stickers, as well as a coffee mug, as Noah Joyce is down on the pit lane.
All right, so he's short pitting there, pitting ahead of Darren Ingram to get that advantage on those new fresh tires, as well as we know how good he is on that short run. That could really be a big move. That could be the winning move if he plays it right. And no surprise here, Ingram now to the pit road to respond.
And Ingram was better on pit lane last time. He closed the gap to Noah, so knowing that 31, he's got to be aggressive here, coming off the pit lane, and try to make sure that maybe he can grab the lead this time.
Yeah, and it was a big gap, too, that Ingram was able to make up. Some of that may help to have just that car in front of you that you can kind of base your speed off of on entry. But either way, I mean, you've got to be wary of that if you're Joyce. Even if you short pit, you know that 3 car is really, really good at getting in and off of pit road. Here we go. 3 car off of pit road, 31 car coming around the start-finish line. Let's see how they end up. Oh no! More problems though. Krastowski backwards on the back straightaway.
My goodness, he stopped there, lets everyone go on by. No caution yet.
Ingram gonna merge with a very, very healthy lead on the 31 car.
Disaster for the 31 and Noah Joyce. He went down the pit lane just under a second back from Ingram. He exits it, 3-4 seconds back.
Well, and that was still a 4-tire pit stop for Ingram as well, so nothing strategic about that, just a much better job getting down to pit road, and that is going to hurt Noah Joyce, and boy, it's going to lose him a couple points there. May not seem like much yet, but if he keeps doing that race after race, you never know.
Replay what happened there with the one of Zach Krastowski, loose through the corner. It's the same thing we've seen all night. These cars, they'll step out on these drivers.
It's a pretty hard impact, and well, it looks like he's okay and he's driving away, but good heads-up driving by him just to hold the brakes and stay there in the wall so that he can be predictable for the guys going by him.
That'll move Mikey Murata up into the 3rd spot, Tommy.
Well, how about that 07 team? It's been a pretty lethargic night for them. Haven't really had the kind of speed that they've wanted to, but remember, they pit earlier than anybody else on this track, and they were able to get that to their advantage. They stayed out of trouble. They had new tires earlier than anybody else, sitting in 3rd, capitalizing on mistakes of others. They're in a really nice position.
Clippers, dude, well, your guy just made his way up into the 3rd spot, Mikey Murata, in this 07, so what a time to be back.
Yeah, and as far as the Buick of Jeff Dixon is concerned, out of the race after some big incidents in turn number 2, just a couple laps apart, ended their night early.
What do we talk about? You can't compound mistakes. Interest? Sure. If you're on the receiving end, but not mistakes. Zach Krastowski loose off the quarter right in front of our leaders.
A little bit of a scary moment. That'll make his heart jump for Darren Ingram. But everything holding steady now. The gap is...
Krastowski is around again. Oh, Noah Joyce.
Spinning through the infield, around that 31 goes, trying to avoid the 1 car. And although he does, we'll have to see if that's worth a caution or not.
It is.
And I think it is.
Oh
my goodness.
This race has been turned on its head. Get your replay.
You know, I'll tell you what, ironically for Joyce, that might have been the best scenario right there to get that caution, because he wasn't catching Darren Ingram all that fast and time was running out for him.
You see the one is Zach Krastowski, that green car center of your screen, just again loose. I think that has to do with the way that spoiler, it looked like the right side of the spoiler was kind of bent down out of the air. No downforce on that right rear. Made that car really uneasy through the corner. Goes for a spin, and Noah Joyce spinning to avoid him, Tommy.
Yeah, and for you Michael Murata fans, guess what? That 07's going to get the lucky dog and be one of just 3 cars on the lead lap for the end of this thing. So that possibility is very real that this 07 could get a little bit of redemption for all the speed they showed at Talladega a few weeks ago. Everybody on pit road now.
And Tommy, we're closing in on your favorite time of the night, too.
We're getting there. We're going to get there pretty soon. Maybe even the lap after we go back green. It's almost 10 to go. Not quite yet, though.
Was that a 2-tire stop from the 3? I think it was.
And we will have to see how that plays out. Although it's going to give him a huge advantage off pit road and securing his lead, it doesn't look like anybody else decided to use that strategy. And he is going to be on the disadvantage as far as tires are concerned. The back foot, if you will.
Never like to be on the back foot. I like that phrase. So Ingram will be the control car for the restart. Then it's Joyce, Murata, Krastowski, Ruiz, Bordeaux. Your 6 drivers left in this one. Krastowski, Bordeaux, they're going to line up on the inside. Lap down cars to the inside. Ruiz is going to elect to line up on the outside. Thanks to Darren Ingram, so good on these restarts, but Noah Joyce has been the better car on the short run. Have to think the damage on that right side of the 31 is now repaired. I also have to think Joyce knows that Ingram won't cut him a break late in the going of a race. He's not going to cut his teammate any breaks, Tommy. You can't.
No, I don't think so. You can't afford to at this point, but we're going to see if those 2 tires are going to work out from Ingram. Here we come to the front straightaway here, looking to go back green, and away we go. Ingram with a fantastic launch. He's going to get that advantage that he needs.
11 laps to go in this one. Joyce with a shove from Mikey Murata there in second. That's the battle for that second position as Joyce goes to the inside. Big moment there for the one is at Krastowski. Bordeaux on the apron as well. Ruiz into the wall. We stay green with Noah Joyce. A big run down the back straightaway. Looking to the outside of Darren Ingram down into 3.
Joyce caught Ingram a lot in that first initial turn right there. Those 4 tires really to his advantage, side by side out of turn number 4. Still side by side. Ingram going to use that momentum on the high lane to get by Joyce again. Here comes Michael Murata into the picture.
And it's our TWB 10 to go, Tommy. You know what that means.
Well, that's right, folks. The TWB 10 to go, brought to you by Garden Lights Direct, from porches to patios and more. For all of your outdoor lighting needs, go visit GardenLightsDirect.com on the web for great deals on great lights. Here we go, Joyce looking to the inside again on Darren Ingram in turn number 4. Those 4 tires definitely seem to be an advantage. He can hold that bottom, but he can't pass just yet. 9 to go.
This is the 1992 version of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Are we in store for one hot night? Part 2 here tonight as Joyce continues to try to find a way around Ingram, and Mikey Murata trying to find a way around Joyce for second.
Murata very much in this race still. Hadn't had the speed all night long that he wanted, but so far he's in this battle for the leads at this point in the race, and it's really exciting, Joe. This is great. Here we go. Ingram's still in the lead. Joyce is falling back a little bit this lap. Didn't quite have the runs he had. Maybe just trying to set himself up for later in the race to get a good run. Here he goes out of turn number 2, trying to look to the inside. Ingram fades low on the exit.
Joyce continues to try to find a way. He's gonna... I don't know where he can make this pass because these cars, just as the run goes on, they get even more and more even, but those 2 tires on the 3 have to start hurting him. He chops the nose of his teammate Noah Joyce there in second. Joyce continues to look to the inside. He's in the grass.
Oh boy, a pass in the grass almost, it looks like. Here we go through 1 and 2 side by side. Joyce getting a little loose. Ingram a little loose on the high side. That's going to bring Michael Murata with the momentum around that high side. Almost looking like it was going to be 3 wide for a second. There goes Murata to the inside, trying to get around Ingram. Joyce to the lead, though, with just about, 6 laps to go this time by. Ingram holds on to second for now, but it's Joyce in the lead.
And that was Mikey's shot to try to get around that 3 because I just haven't seen the speed in that 07. Joyce out front with 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles. Remember, Ingram there in second in that 3 car. He's only got the 2 right sides as that car gets loose on the entry of the corner.
Now at this point, mathematically, the only 2 Noble 3 contenders with a shot at the money is Ingram and Krastowski. But Krastowski 2 laps down. He's going to need something to happen to Ingram to get that winning spot. Ingram's not thinking about the money right now. He's thinking about the win, but he's seeing it walk away from him in the form of Noah Joyce in a quick lube Oldsmobile. Good wrench on the hood and side of that silver number 31. And that 3 car behind him doesn't have too much pressure anymore from Michael Murata. But still, those 2 tires didn't look like they're going to work out here. just a handful of laps to go now, Joe. Four to go.
4 to go. Joyce with the lead, starting to stretch it over Ingram. Ingram stretching his lead for second over Murata, who sits in third in that 07 car. Right now, they're going to come to the line. 3 fingers out. It's not for Dale. It's to show these drivers that there are only 3 laps to go in this one.
Well, for Noah Joyce, this has been really a race of redemption. Multiple times it seems like he was going to be in control and then had it slip away. Really, we've seen that for actually a couple of these leaders, Joe. It really looked like Darren Ingram was going to have that advantage until that late caution that we just had. Flipped things on its head once again.
Coming to the line this time, as you said, the redemption arc of Noah Joyce tonight was strong at the start. Qualified on the pole. Then it was Jeff Dixon getting around him in the middle portion of this race. Dixon has trouble, retires from the event. Joyce regains the lead, then just got beat on pit stops, Tommy, and now he's back into the lead after that late race. Yellow, just under a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, it wasn't a night up front all night long for Joyce, but maybe that was a good thing. The leader of this race hasn't had much success throughout its history here so far, but with one more lap to go, it's Joyce at the line, leading the way by 4.5 tenths over Ingram.
Joyce just has to be steady, have to think the spotter, the crew chief are telling him you don't have to get by that white line. Ingram is trying so hard right now in second, Tommy, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to go there. He full sends it down into the corner. He's into the wall.
A full send and into the wall. Here comes Murata. He's going to plow into the back of Ingram for third place, but across the line comes Noah Joyce. He wins at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
What a finish. One hot night.
One hot night indeed, and in fact, Michael Murata is going to come away with second place tonight. That 07 team, I'm sure, is going to appreciate that funding they're going to get from that fantastic finish position for them. And for Noah Joyce, not only did he win the race, but he's going to extend that lead over Darren Ingram, by one extra free spot at the end as well.
We'll get those results on your screen momentarily. We'll also talk with our top 3 drivers after this one. But Noah Joyce, your winner here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, a hometown hero, wins in Charlotte, in the Queen City, in Concord. Parks the car, is getting the helmet off. Of course, doesn't wear a Hans device because this is the Retro Series.
That's an open faced helmet, though, isn't it, Joe?
It is. You can see the smile on his face right now, ear to ear. Gonna celebrate with the fans. Fist being pumped out the window. And he'll take it to victory lane, Tommy.
For that 31 team, a nice victory tonight. And as far as our USORL Noble 3 race, well, we still have a winner in Darren Ingram. That 3 team coming away with your grand prize tonight. And your runner-up getting their money back is Zach Kostowski and that 1 team. Congratulations to those 2 for finishing in the money tonight.
And Tommy, while I get those results on our fans' screens at home, why don't you start pulling in these drivers? Let's talk with these top 3.
Well, all right, Joe. We're going to bring in the third place finisher tonight in the 3 car, Darren Ingram. A third place finish tonight, but also a second straight win in the Noble 3. You didn't get the win in the race you wanted, but you did come home $15 richer.
Yeah, at least I can go buy some ice cream or something. I can eat my pain away with the ice cream.
Well, the strategy call at the end to go for 2 tires ended up not working out, but every idea that doesn't work out is maybe not a great one in hindsight, but at the time, what was the motivation behind that move?
Yeah, so I figured everyone was going to try, just because of how touch and go it was with passing. I thought that other people might try to take 2 tires to get the track position on me. And since the tires weren't that old, they were only about, I think, like 7 to 10 laps old at that point. I was like, I thought it was. I'd rather be in first with 2 tires than in fifth with 4. Turns out everybody took 4, so that was a bad decision. So I should have taken 4 and probably would have held on. But hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, Darren, a fantastic effort from you. A big dive on the last lap to try and get the win any way you could. It did look like, at least, that those 2 tires were working, able to hold off Joyce for a little, but just kind of fell short in the end. But like we said, you did win the USORL Noble 3 for the second straight time. There's going to be one more of these races coming at you in a few weeks' time. You going to enter that one and go for the sweep?
Oh yeah, of course. I thought about, I tried to Carl Edwards there at Kansas. There in the end, go racing there. I felt like I didn't want to be too mean. Me and Noah race each other a lot. We race each other hard. I got to throw in Dover from Cup last season. He's not going to like that. But we always have good battles, and I didn't want to race him dirty. I didn't want to chop him or anything. So, we race hard, we race good together, and we'll just go on to what I don't have no idea what's next, but we'll go on to the next one. We'll share setups together. We're usually running the same setup or something similar, and we'll just go at it. Go on to the next one.
Hey, on to the next one, and also on to the supermarket to get that pint of ice cream. What kind of ice cream are you going to be chowing down on, Darren?
Of course, it's going to be Bluebell. I'm a Texas boy.
No, but like flavor.
Probably some cookies and cream, or maybe cookie two-step. It's chocolate chip cookie dough with as well as cookies and cream. Very good.
Oh, can you get me some too while you're there?
I got you. I'll overnight it from Texas all up to Michigan.
All right, I appreciate it. But Darren, as always, you're always great to talk to. Congratulations on that third place finish. Floor is yours, buddy.
We good wrench out there, Wrangler Jeans. Wrangler's actually going to be joining us over on the Cup side for Season 8 of the USORL Cup Series. So that'll be exciting out there in the number 3 car. So, yeah, we're just going to keep going out there, exalt all those guys, and we're just going to keep trying to win and see what we come up with.
Hey, have to think that you'll be coming up with another great run next week, Darren. Congratulations once again. Can't wait to see you in that next Noble 3 race at Pensacola. And as always, hope you continue this great success. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, wait, is it Pensacola? We're play tracking it? Oh, boy, I'm very excited now. I get to make some moves now.
Going to be a wide racetrack to make those moves, Darren. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you, guys.
Darren Ingram, driver of the number 3. Your third place finisher and Noble winner here tonight. What you got next, Tommy?
Well, let me bring him on in here. It's going to be Mikey Murata.
No, it's Big Mike.
Oh, man. Well, we'll see about that one. It's the 07 of Mikey Murata coming away with a second place finish. Congratulations. You've had a kind of a dull start to the night, but it ended up pretty good for you. How do you feel?
A lot better than when the race started. I can say that much. I knocked the wall down like lap 10, and I was ready to, I was like, man, already? I was all frustrated. And I mean, the car itself wasn't too bad. It was not quite on the pace of Noah and Darren, obviously, but it was decent. It got tight on the long run, but it was good, and that caution couldn't have come out at a better time.
No, it worked out great for you getting that lucky dog. And you mentioned being able to at least kind of, run with those bigger teams. This 07 car, you have a lot of fans of it actually in the chat. Unsponsored, underfunded. How does that feel to run so well for that group of guys that I know works so hard week in and week out?
That was great. I mean, we don't do the whole schedule. We don't have the theoretical funds here. So, I wasn't even really expecting a top 3, and I'd have been happy with, top 5. So to get second, even in the way that I got it, a bit embarrassing, but yeah, I'll take it. I definitely did not mean to do that. I sent it in there pretty hard, and then by the time I was already at the top of the exit on 4, he was still there. So that wasn't great.
Mikey, it was a great time watching you in that '07 tonight. We're always rooting for you because you're the underdog. You're the little scrappy team with you in this '07 bunch. Um, does a run like this, does it help with the confidence? Does it help? Like, what's the biggest takeaway from tonight?
I think patience.
Mhm.
I gotta remind myself about how long some of these races are. It's like I brought up earlier. I'd hit the wall like a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, not just be a little more conservative, but also that you do the whole thing, you grind it out, you're gonna get a good finish more than likely. So, just kind of gotta remind myself to be patient, a little more, keep that persistence.
Well, it was a great run tonight, Mikey, and congrats. I was gonna try to make a joke. I don't know. I'm just so happy for you in this '07 bunch, but congratulations. Thanks for talking with us. But before we let you go, you've been here before. You were here, I think, the first time we did one of these, or one of the first times we did one of these. The floor is yours, buddy.
Well, there's no sponsors on the car, so the only people I gotta thank are my crew and myself.
Well, all right then, Mikey. Congratulations once again. We're gonna get some sponsors on that car. We're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way. Congratulations once again, second place run here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Mikey Murata, driver of the 07. Don't even know what kind of car it is. I guess we probably should have asked him that, but yeah.
Hey, Michael, one more thing here. What kind of car is that you're driving out there? What manufacturer?
I believe it's a Chevy.
Okay.
All right. Well,
there you go.
We're gonna try to get you some decals for it, okay?
Sure thing.
All right, great. Mikey Murata, driver of the 07 Chevy. You could tell he didn't know what was going on there for a second. He was like,
no, but he got it quick like a professional.
He's always a professional.
Speaking of being quick, how about our winner tonight here, Noah Joyce?
I thought you were. I thought you were gonna say, speaking of being professional. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to do your little intro. You're trying to hype him up, but you're gonna say, speak of being professional. I was like, this is not the guy. Just say it. But go on, Tommy. Go on.
Well, he's been quick. He's also been pretty professional. You don't hear from him much on interviews, but we are tonight. Noah Joyce, winner of the race tonight from pole, led the most laps. An immaculate points day for you. Congratulations. How does this team feel?
Thank you, first off. It feels good to win, of course, but we didn't really deserve it. Not the fastest car, not the second fastest car. But, take it in stride, take points lead, expand it. So it feels good. Not great, not better than that. It feels good.
Well, it was up and down night really for you guys, and it seemed like any leader of this race we saw, you really had some great short run speed early on, but it really ended up being the Jeff Dixon show in the middle part of the race until his problems. Darren Ingram took over after some points, and then at the end, you kind of lucked out on that caution at the end, and were able to gap Ingram a little bit there towards the end as far as points are concerned. And I know you're thinking championship. What does a run like you have tonight do for you going forward in this season?
Does everything we needed to do. We led the most laps, got the pole, got the win, so it's a max points day. Like I said, knowing we weren't the fastest, I think we've gone into a lot of these races, and I might have gotten a little complacent because we've had a lot of speed, but not as much tonight. So if anything, it just shows us we can be better. So.
Speaking to that, was tonight kind of that wake up call? Is that what I'm getting from you?
Definitely a little bit. Obviously, it just depends. We've had a little lower car counts, so just it's a week by week basis, I guess.
Hey, week by week basis, but a victory, something that of course our football team hasn't done. So you're already more successful than them this year. Yeah. What is it like though? You're in a battle. We always talk about these championship battles. A lot of times you're not battling with a teammate, but you're in that special circumstance where you're battling with a teammate, a guy that you work with week in and week out, inside the shop, outside the shop. Does that make it easier or harder to battle hard like you did on the track, and also in practice, lap times, and all that type of stuff?
Overall, it makes it easier because we're both trying to help each other be the best we can. when you got a situation like turn 1 and 2 tonight, it makes it harder because you can't just punt them out of the way like you want to.
Hey, that's fair. And winning in the hometown, that's got to feel good too, right?
Yeah. I consider Martinsville more my home track, but home state, so
there you go.
It's cool either way.
He's just Tommy. He's just man. This guy.
Well, wrong.
He just
Joe.
wants more. He just wants more. Is what it is.
Well, that's nothing bad to want, and certainly.
No. You're right. That was my. I'm doing awful here tonight. I'm doing awful. Not my best.
Nothing bad to want more.
On JTN.
Nothing bad to want more. And Noah, you've been on it in multiple series across the USORL this season, and this is just a continuation of that. So congratulations for the win tonight. And is there anyone you want to thank?
Of course, thank Darren. He's been a great teammate, of course, this season. All the guys at OJR. Thank Goodwrench and Wrangler. And, of course, thank everybody here at JTN for putting on a show for us, helping us put on a show for everybody else. And, of course, producer Bristol. So, have a great broadcast here, great broadcast crew. Well, thank you guys, of course. I think that's about it.
Hey, well, Noah, thank you for taking the time to talk with us after this one. So glad to hear your voice on one of these, especially after such another strong run. I do have to say, real quick before you go, because I haven't been able to tell any. I don't think I've said this before, but my absolute favorite call, just like pure call, was Tommy's call of you winning the season opener last year over here in the Cup Series, because he was just so ecstatic. And I just wanted to say, it's always good to see you in Victory Lane. Always good to hear from you. And also, you got to check out Whose Sides if you want to hear more from the man, the myth, the legend, Noah Joyce. Congratulations once again on the win here tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
Noah Joyce, driver of the number 31 GM Goodwrench Oldsmobile. I hope he, and the other thing too, real quick. It was the first time we got to talk with him, right, Tommy? He made sure he came in and he gave Bristol all the pets once he got here.
Yeah,
so.
that's we are really appreciative of that. That's a guy who knows that's the professional part of him.
Exactly. I came in, I was trying to joke, and I didn't do a good job, and he took it like a champ. That's what we love to see. And Tommy, what's your biggest takeaway from tonight? It's just Noah Joyce. They find a way to get the win. They find a way to get the good finish and to continue to build their points lead tonight.
And they certainly did, Joe. And I think my biggest takeaway from tonight is you never know what's going to happen. You come out here and you think, maybe this guy's got a 17-second lead at some point in the case of your Jeff Dixons of the world. But, doesn't seem to end up that way sometimes. You never know what to expect, and that's why we race, that's why we watch, that's why we commentate, and it was fun to be part of this tonight, and congratulations to that whole crew. That's a good points day for them. They really seem like a formidable force for this championship.
A great points day for them, a great run here tonight, and folks, if you want to keep up to date with this championship, you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to us right here on the JTN YouTube page if you haven't already. Also hit that like button on the video. Our next time broadcasting here with the USORL Retro Series will be on November the 20th from Pensacola for the third of 3 Noble 3 races. Our next broadcast, though, of course, is tomorrow night, Halloween 500 from Hollerdega with East Coast Thunder. Going to be a special event there. Going to have a bunch of prizes to give away, a Best in Show contest as well, so you're going to want to make sure you tune into that one. It's going to be a fun time. You're not going to want to miss it. And Tommy, next time you're up here in the booth, we're opening up the round of 8 for the All-Star Racing Cup Series from Texas.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be really competitive. We're done with the road courses. Right? We're done with the super speedways. We've got ourselves 2.5 miles and a short track to decide who's going to be in the final 4 over there. And I'm looking forward to it. Should be really close and a tight battle for those last 4 positions to win the championship.
And a bunch of great racing coming up for you on JTN. So again, you want to make sure you're subscribed. You don't miss a second. You also want to make sure you're following us at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter, JoeTowNetwork on Facebook, and TikTok. So go follow all those avenues. We appreciate you so much when you do. But with all that being said, for all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for Tommy Bordeaux, I'm Joe Twansky. We can't thank you enough for tuning in here tonight. And we'll see you guys next time, of course, live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're Gonna be 3 wide coming to the checkered. Never mind, they're gonna be... Oh!
Maverick!
Turn 9!
What that?
But turn 4 into the tri-oval. Whitehill through the grass. It's gonna be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
All right, and they're wrecking behind him. We got cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down, but it doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Comes Musa. Musa's gonna.
Oh, he's gonna use that apron.
He's gonna use the apron.
They're gonna be side by side. Coming off the corner. Boy, back to the inside. It's gonna be a drag race to the line till Musa gets it.